Good morning, everyone. I had a wonderful conversation with a real network marketing professional last week. A famous, well-known one. I'm not sure if any of you have heard of him, Tim Sales. But Tim Sales is a very well-recognized industry professional in network marketing. And we had a great conversation, and he shared some interesting insights into the income opportunity that is available in network marketing. We know we struggle a lot, don't we, in regards to claims that we can make in regards to the earning potential of the opportunity that we have. What I'd like to do today is actually share a video. He kind of did this presentation for me as we were chatting. He kind of jumped into it in excitement, and I reached out afterwards and said, "Can I grab those slides?" And he said, "Oh, even better, I've recorded it. I've got the whole presentation that I've done." So I want to share it with you because I just think it's valuable. He's put a ton of research into this and broken down the data. And this is what I love. It's one thing to get data when we say we want to rely on facts, not feelings. Yeah. So what are the facts? Give us the facts. And there are certain establishments that will look at the facts or the data and say, well, the data says, X number of people join the industry and only a small percentage make money, as an example. But they don't analyze the data correctly. Yeah. And as a consequence, they end up with incorrect conclusions. How many people start and do nothing? Well, they're thrown into the mix, aren't they? It would be interesting, just as a comparison, to go to gymnasiums and say, based on the data of everyone that joins your gym, how many people achieve the goal that you promise of them getting into better shape and getting fitter and healthier? And if they were to throw out the numbers on that and look at the money that they're making and the money that people spend and invest on gym memberships or on treadmills and bikes or classes that they don't attend, don't use, don't engage with, then it would be very interesting. What you have to do is drill down, don't you? And go, well, based on the number of people that come in, let's look at this funnel. How many people engage? How many people go to the, take classes? How many people study? How many people participate? And so on, to get the real data. That's the critical thing. So I want to share this video because this is exactly what he's done. And in this example, just as an example, and he's done this with a couple of industries, he does an income comparison to real estate agents. Okay, so I think this is an interesting comparison. Now, before I move on, I want to just give some context to one of the reasons why I'm sharing this today, because 2020 has been an interesting year, hasn't it? And I think as we prepare for 2021, we need to start looking, realizing that people will be looking for what we have. And we need to level up our investment of time, our commitment to really reaching out and connecting with more people. I've spent a lot of time within my business this year. I'm making commitments now going into next year to get a better balance of working within my business and reaching outside of my business to bring more people in. We've got to get through that pipeline, and I'm including myself in that process for next year. But it's interesting. I've got an article up here from the Washington Post. I'll just read what it says because it's just an interesting couple of statements. They said, what has 2020 brought for many people? No Olympics, no award shows, no weddings, no summer camps, no graduations. Nothing to look forward to except a new Netflix show or your newfound love of regrowing scallions or baking bread. Now it's all about 2021, the year where everything and maybe nothing happens. The coronavirus has brought tectonic change to almost every part of life. How we live, where we work, what we do for work, what it means to be a kid, what family means, what's important. There was a months-long pause where the world was on months-long moment where the world was on pause, causing many to dig into existential questions. What is my purpose? And where do I belong? I really like that. It's true. So never before, I think, in the history of our time in Nikan, has there been a more intense focus by those around us on what is my overarching purpose? Why am I here? What really makes me happy? And a willingness, along with those existential questions, to explore new and different methods of finding income, of contributing, of having some type of engagement in their lives that adds value. We have that. So what a great opportunity. However, as we talk, we need to be able to confront and respond to some of these questions about the earning opportunity in a business like ours. So I'm going to share screen now, and turn your volumes up, please. I'm going to play a video, and then we'll discuss it briefly afterwards. The video, for your reference, is about 20 minutes long, but it is fantastic. It'll grab your attention the whole way through. I will also put the link for reference at the end of the video in the chat if you want to copy and paste it and watch it again afterwards. I'm confident you will. Okay, so let's get rid of that slide. Okay, can you see the video screen coming up here? I'm going to put it into, yeah. Okay, so here we go.
Hi, Tim Sells here. In this video, we're going to be talking about network marketing income compared to real estate income. And it's a side-by-side income comparison. And I really honestly can't be more happy for you because this was a lot of research that it took to acquire all this data. I had to pull together data scientists, mathematicians, statisticians, a bunch of research people to locate all this data, and so I'm super excited for you. That's what I'm trying to say. All right, so let's start off with what it takes, okay? Because I want you to understand the life of a real estate agent, the life of a network marketer, okay? So what everybody in any sales or customer acquisition or a human resources department has to do is they have to acquire employees, acquire reps, acquire agents, acquire customers, okay? And the same acquisition, the acquisition process is all the same. And that is you generate a lead, you contact the lead, you set an appointment, you do a presentation, you follow up, and then you get a customer or an agent or a rep, okay? So, and then income rise and fall in ratio to the pipeline production. So if somebody's not able to hire the right person, what is it? Well, it's not generating enough leads and moving them across the pipeline. Okay. If they can't get a customer, well, why not? Well, they're not putting enough enough leads in front of the house. Okay. So if it's a real estate agent, so that's the process that they go through. Now, let me just kind of walk through a little bit of the steps, if you will. So let's say that a real estate agent sells a $225,000 house. That's the average, all right? And the income is around $5,000. And now, what's the process that the person goes through? So they are going to put up yard signs. You probably answered one or two. Magazine ads, newspaper ads, online ads. They go to networking events, investor events, business cards, things like that. So I remember in a Halloween party, there was a person who's a real estate agent, and he was passing out his card at the Halloween party. And so there's all kind of ways that they can generate leads. And then how do they contact them? Well, a phone, you know, you're sitting outside in your car looking at a sign and you call, right? Text, email, social media, right? And then what's the presentation? The house. Okay, so they're going to set an appointment to show the house. Are they doing open house all day on Saturday? Okay, and so they're gonna basically be at the house all day Saturday. Then they're gonna follow up and they get a customer or not interested. And I want you to think about that process, Okay, so if a real estate agent knows their game, what they're really trying to do is to find the person who wants the house that they're selling. I know when I go into a house and I'm looking for something, I know that agent has no idea what I'm looking for. It may very well be, where am I going to put my office in the home, right? Like that could be my primary thing. I remember going for an investment house and I was looking at the curb value. Whether or not that was what I would end up selling the person to, what they were looking for, I don't know. But the thing is that inside the customer's head, they're looking for something, all right? And so it's about quantity of leads to find that person who wants that house. It's not about convincing somebody. So when somebody really knows their trade, that's what it becomes. It's not about trying to take somebody who doesn't like the house, but making them want it, okay? That's not what we do. Okay, so how did this all come about? Well, I happened to Google average income of a real estate agent in 2019. And I got data and it was 41,289. Okay, well, that was from Forbes. Forbes, okay. And then I saw right down below it, it said 41,395 and 53,899. In other words, it was a range. And then there was another one of 52,000. And so I'm like, why is there variable data? Why isn't it just a statistic? So I became curious. And that's when I launched the research team to try to figure out why. Because I was wondering, okay, is it everybody in real estate that's ever had a license? Or is it only the active ones? Because I remember some of my family members who had a real estate license and they hadn't sold a house in 10 years. And so were they part of the calculation? And so I was very, very curious about this. So here's the way we just happened to get lucky, all right? That's the way I view it, is that we found a small Texas town that revealed the number of people who passed the exam, and then that gave us the query to be able to find more and more of those. So the bottom line is that 50,000 people become real estate agents per year. 44% passed the exam. That means 56% didn't. So we have to add that 56 into the number above it. It's the only way you're going to be able to produce 50,000 a year with a 44% pass rate. So we have 113,000. You can take the exam 3 times in a year, and so we average that at 1.5. And then it's finished the course. What course? Well, there's a real estate agent course, and it's like 57.5 hours long, okay? So some other people have told me, no, it's over 100 hours and things like that, but it's contract and regulatory law. How many people actually finished that? That was what I was curious about, okay? And so it ends up being that you needed 710,230 in order to get 50,000 that would become agents, all right? So that gave us the data in order to, and then we're also going to reveal it here, but I also did that same thing to network marketing, all right? And so that's how we can do side-by-side comparison. So 37,500 sell at least one home. That's 75% of it. Now I have a question for you, and I want you to really think about this. How did we lose 12,500? In other words, why did 12,500 people not sell a home? Okay, so I have the pipeline right here to remind you. Okay, so if 37,500 did sell one home, it meant that they put enough leads across the pipeline in order to sell one home. But 12,500 did not put enough across the pipeline. So whatever was in this course It may have taught them regulatory law, but it didn't teach them the pipeline, okay? And then going on down, we have 25,000 that earn the median income. 9,375 earned $75,000 or more, and 1,250 earned 110,000. Okay. Now you can look at the corresponding numbers over here. 3.5% would earn the average. So this is a book called How to Lie with Statistics, and omitting data is a way to make statistics look different, okay? And that's clearly the case here, because they start their math here at the number that passed the exam, not the number of people who started out and say, I want to be a real estate agent, all right? Okay, so let's break this down now. $225,000 home, commission is $5,000. 5,000 times 10 is $50,000. So in order to earn this median income, they needed to sell 10 homes. Okay, so let's say that it requires, I don't know, 100 leads across the pipeline in order to sell 10. I don't know. I'm not a real estate agent. Maybe somebody can share with me those numbers. But the concept is always the same in the game of marketing. That is, how many leads did they have to move? Well, let's just say that it was 100 leads, 1 in 10. The people who did not do that did not advance in the income bracket. 15 required to make 75,000. That would be, let's say, 150 leads across the pipeline. Only 9,000 people were willing to do that. And then only 1,000 were willing to put the quantity required to make $100,000. Okay, I want to make sure that I assist you in understanding the subcomponents that make a statistic. Statistics are just a quantity of something. What's the quantity of? The pipeline are the subcomponents that create it, right? Okay, so now compared to network marketing, we took the same quantity here in the same way that they extract their data here, and then we just basically filled in the blanks. There is no requirement to do a network marketing course, if you will. It's recommended, but no course required. And so all these numbers drop down to here. So 81% or 578,000 sold at least one product, right? That means that a whole lot didn't. 200,000 didn't. What didn't they do? They didn't move enough leads across the pipeline. That's what it was. 7.5% earned the median income, 53,000. That's 2 times more than what real estate produced. 25,000 people will earn 75,000 a year. That's 3 times more than real estate. And then 14,396 will earn 110,000. That's 11 times more. 11 times more. Okay? And again, this isn't any different. You'll hear a lot of excuses, but it is quantity across the pipeline. And as you train a sales team, it's quantity across the pipeline. If you train your people to do quantity across the pipeline, it's not any different than a real estate broker that trains his or her agents to do quantity across the pipeline. Okay, that's the game. Okay, so let me bring it back to where I can really assist here. So between each of these columns are normally some communication that goes on. Okay, so you generate a lead. That lead, however your advertisement was, is the communication, right? The better you get at that, the better you'll be at the pipeline. As you contact them, your communication, you asking, like pertinent questions, what they're looking for, things like that, then you're going to better be able to connect the house to the client, the prospect, if you will, right? And same thing in network marketing. What are you looking for? That kind of thing. And then setting the appointment, like following up just before the appointment, confirming the appointment, if you will, and then showing the house, right? When I go into a house, what I want to do is I want to sit with it for a while and try to imagine all of my furniture inside the house. And in network marketing, I tend to like to look, evaluate. I like to watch a video on something. I like to look at the product line and see how I could sell those, things like that, right? So it's all the same. So the better that you get in each of these columns, the better the conversion. But it is always quantity that wins the game. But if you can add quality, your conversion rates go up. All right, so this is the same in every industry. It doesn't matter if you are in corporate sales. It doesn't matter if you're in farm sales. It doesn't matter, farming equipment. It doesn't matter what you do, right? So for those people who have said things like, most people fail in network marketing, or only a few succeed, or it doesn't work. It's my favorite. What's it? It is the pipeline. Okay. What are they really saying? What they're really saying is those people didn't do the pipeline. And the people who win, the people who succeed, they did quantity across the pipeline. Those that are the top producers did quantity across the pipeline. All right. So I hope that helps you to understand the basics and the fundamentals of all of this. But I have one more thing to show you. All right. And that is, I know where all of the data came from. That's the anti side. All right. So there was a gentleman by the name of John Taylor, and he and I were in the same company at the same time. So I had joined a company. I worked it for 5 years. I retired for 18 years, didn't do anything. John, in the same company about the same time, he worked it, and I put it in quotes, he worked it for a year, couldn't make it work. Decided that it didn't work. What was it? It was that company. And he tried everything he could to bring that company down. It's a $2 billion company now. And so he didn't bring it down. And then he kind of diversified, and he goes, well, the whole industry is flawed. The whole industry is a scam. The whole industry, all right? The bottom line is that he had poor sportsmanship. That's really what went on. Spent his whole life trying to prove that network marketing didn't work. Flawed business model, most fail, few succeed, etc. All right. He wrote a bunch of articles, and then that got picked up by Washington Post, Wall Street Journal, New York Times, bunch of blogs, because the blogs are looking for eyeballs. So is the Wall Street Journal, and all of them looking for people to buy the newspaper, hit their website, things like that. And then and what they do, what the media does, is that they quote that it's an FTC research. No, if you look really, really close, you will find that it's in public comments. Not a lot different than people who comment down below my video. All right. So he just uploaded his PDF and shared it with people. And because it's got that URL, people think that it is done by the FTC. All right. It's not. So in my world, like I said, I was in the same company. I worked it for 5 years. I've had a 6 to 7 figure income for 32 years. All right. And so you can kind of choose if you want to be on the negative side or you want to be on the positive side. But the bottom line is it's the pipeline and it's quantity across the pipeline that creates success in real estate, creates success in network marketing and everything else. I am in no way putting down real estate. Okay. No way. I was actually very surprised. When I saw the numbers, I was like, what? You gotta be kidding me. But then after a bit, I kind of figured out, yeah, that would make sense to me. And the reason that it would make sense to me is that if a person's in real estate and they move 20, not 20 across pipeline, but let's say 200 across the pipeline in order to sell 20 homes, they make $100,000. Well, at the end of the year, they got to do that again next year. You see, because the houses aren't consumable. Network marketing tends to be consumable. And so you would have more of a compounding effect of that volume. Yes, there's going to be some people who don't, you know, they get off auto delivery. They don't want the product anymore. They don't want to be reps anymore. And so you're going to have attrition, but there is a compounding effect that goes on. And so each year, if you will, if somebody's still working the pipeline and they train their team to work the pipeline, the quantity will take over. So if you take a look at this, you can see that what's going on is that these are teams doing the pipeline. So I'll just make it real simple here. This is a person or two or three doing the pipeline in real estate. Over here, it's a team of people doing the pipeline. The broker over here has a team, normally not as big as what network marketing develops. But the idea is that few people are doing the pipeline over here to create income as opposed to over here. And that would be why you would have 11 times more in network marketing make $100,000 than in real estate. So I hope that makes sense to you, and I hope that was helpful to you. Please comment down below. If you haven't subscribed already, you might consider doing so. I appreciate you.
Okay, what a powerful video, don't you think? I want to ask some questions, and please put your answers in the chat. What to you was the biggest message that he gave in that presentation? What stood out to you the most? You can unmute your line, share a thought. We've only got a couple of minutes, so please be mindful of the time, or throw something in the chat. We can do either or. Any comments? What was the overarching message? Yes, we can see that on average, the earning potential shows, based on the data, we are very competitive to the likes of the real estate agent, for example. Barbara Richmond has put in her answer, the quantity of people we are putting through the pipeline. That's really what it comes down to, isn't it? I liked what he said, that you know, the answer here is really the data in the pipeline are the subcomponents of the overarching statistics. Yeah, the data in the pipeline are the subcomponents of the statistics. So as we look at what's going on in our business, it's really important to look critically and with specificity at what is going on in my pipeline. What is the data there? Too often we will work hard without enough observation of the work we are doing. So we will work hard, we will feel engaged, we will be busy, but maybe we're busy being busy, yeah, versus busy doing the productive stuff. So look specifically at what I am doing with my time. Yeah, Sue's just raised an important point there. Quality is important also. How do you contact? How do you present? How do you do the follow-up? This is really good. And this leads to the point that I was getting to, is too many of us look at two things when we're evaluating our business. We look at my initial efforts, or my present effort, and then the net result. And that's it. And we're really looking from such a big perspective, because those two things are very ambiguous, aren't they? What is effort? Yeah. What is result? Right? If I'm only looking at it in that context. So when I say what is my effort, let's drill that down into what are my efforts in relation to the pipeline. You know, in regards to you know, adding people to the list, contacting people, inviting, doing presentations, doing the follow-up, and leading people to that point where they buy a product or join the business. We need to look specifically at the quantity and quality of that work. Because when we start to look at those different silos within that pipeline that he was saying about our business, when we look at the different silos, the different aspects of that pipeline, then we start to be able to understand if there is a break somewhere in my results. If I'm speaking to a lot of people, but then I find that I'm not getting many people to join or buy a product, and there is a disconnect in what the result should be, then I can say, okay, where in the pipeline am I going wrong? And I might go, well, I'm speaking to 100 people, but I'm only getting to present to 3. So what is my initial presentation? What is my initial contact looking like? What is breaking down there to give me a low statistic here? Or maybe I'm speaking to 20 people in my presentations, but I'm only getting a small minority, a small percentage join as a consequence. Well, okay, now I need to look at the quality of my presentation. And of course, what happens afterwards? Am I doing the follow-up? So as we look with specifics at the pipeline, we can then start to measure our results more accurately. If we're not measuring the results accurately, that will lead to frustration and despair. Yeah, because we'll go, I'm trying so hard, but I'm not getting the result that I want. That's just not enough. We need to evaluate better. So I did promise that I was going to put that that link in the chat. So let me do that for you now.
Hey, Ben, we can put that link on as well on the rebroadcast of the recording.
Yeah, excellent, excellent. So I'll put it here, so you got it now. I'm going to end the call because we've gone a couple of minutes over, but I want to give a challenge to everyone, because to me, this video has power and potency. And he's got a couple of other videos, like I said, in comparing to other industries or activities that look like they have great appeal. Amazon, YouTube influencers and such like. Yeah, because those are two very popular ones, aren't they? Where we hear people go, oh, I want to sell on Amazon, or I want to be a YouTube influencer if I'm in the younger demographic. Well, let's look at the data and do some comparisons. Really interesting. But my invitation is this, is to watch that video presentation that Tim Sales has done at least 3 more times, because we need to get that message here and here much stronger. When it really starts to sink in and we become familiar with that language so that we can teach it to someone else. That's what I want. I want us all to be familiar enough with that message that we can teach it to someone else. So if we watch to teach versus watch to learn, that presentation, right, that will do us great good. And it will give us incentive and motivation to increase our activity to put more numbers across the pipeline. That's what it comes down to. We've got to put more numbers. Mike, did you want to say something?
Yeah, I just wanted to say, point to a tool that we have that outlines the same concept as far as getting somebody started, and that is the $1 million list. And the flip side of that is the strategy chart, 90-day launch. The contact lead generation in this case is your immediate list, your warm market list. The contact and invite is what he referred to as contacting them and setting an appointment. The presentation is, of course, the presentation of the idea of NECAN, whether it's the product or the opportunity or both. That's in the how conversation. And then the follow-up is the what conversation, which is what does it take to get started? What does it take to get active? And then lastly, it shows the pipeline in this chart. It shows our pipeline, and it shows it results in either a customer or a consultant or a referral. And it doesn't end there. If you look at the strategy chart, it also indicates that of the 9 potential consultants that you have, you may have 3 only who in turn start duplicating the pipeline.
Yeah, Mike, that's a great synopsis, because what Mike has just shared there is we have tools for every step in the pipeline that Tim Sales was talking about to help us get the numbers across. Yeah. So utilize those tools and resources. We have them available. We have them available. And if you get stuck at any point along the way, reach out, ask the question. Don't sit there struggling. and feeling isolated and alone. You're not. We're here to help. So just reach out. What tool do I have? What tool is available? Where do I go to find that if we don't know? Don't be embarrassed if a tool's been around for a couple of years and you've forgotten where it is or you don't know where it is. Don't let that embarrassment go. That will prevent me from asking. Okay. I would rather it just get into your hands and get it used. Yeah. So don't be concerned about that. Just ask the question if you don't know where they are. So there's the message. I think watch it at least 3 times. Watch it with the intent to teach so that we understand it, so that that language can become ours. And of course, the additional message coming from this is let's all get more people across the pipeline. Okay. When we do that, we can see the numbers will go up. Okay. And let's do that, as Sue said, in the process of focusing not just on quantity, but also on quality activity. Okay, thank you all very much. I hope this has been helpful and you enjoyed the video and the message from Tim Sales. I know I certainly did. Thank you all very much and we'll speak soon. Bye-bye.